Well, if you recall, that Hecarim ban is because I believe it was I'm a Giraffe took Hecarim and went 10-2 in the jungle in the first game of week 1. So I think that was really big in carrying for Team Niger, and I think that uh, clearly Feed the Poros knows that, so they banned him out. Also, the Renekton ban, or I'm sorry, it was not I'm a Giraffe was up top. It was Killed You, who's playing Nocturne right now. Killed You. Killed a lot of people with Hecarim. So, anyways, the top ban is for I'm a Giraffe. He played a phenomenal Renekton game with his teleport. He was all over the place, picking up kills and going deep. Right. I'm not sure about the Jace ban though, because if you recall that Shoryuken didn't really perform that well with Jace when he had his Irelia banned. So I'm not too sure why they banned out Jace. But the Anivia ban is because Catholics went 8-0 in game number 2 of week 1 with Anivia. So Anivia has really been a troublesome champion for all these teams. Oh, that was a different game actually. But that Anivia was also unstoppable, a testament to just how these Anivia players are dominating the game. Well, yeah, if you remember, Incendiary Spade is a Diamond, I believe Diamond 3 player, so that Fiddlesticks is his main champion from what I've heard. So I'm pretty sure Incendiary's not going to get to play him at all in the tournament. Fiddlesticks, yeah, sorry. I'm not sure. Maybe he was planning on picking Shen for split pushing. He seemed to do a great job with the teleports on Renekton, so the Shen all gives him a little more utility in that as it has a lower cooldown. So maybe he banned out Jace just to make sure that he didn't get his Shen countered. Yeah, Team Niger has a lot of really skilled players on their team, so they're also in a very tough division. So right now, I would say that the underdog is Feed the Poros. So we'll have to see how they perform. They played brilliantly. They're actually the only team to to go two or to lose 1-2 in their match. So every other team has been defeated 0 wins to 2 losses. Right before I go into Feed the Poros team comp, I wanted to say that the Nocturne alt followed up with the Shen alt can be extremely devastating. So I think that Team Niger has put a little more thought into their team comp, whereas Feed the Poros is playing kind of comfort champions. I'd expect Miggy to take Ezreal because I saw that he had his Ezreal banned out in the first week. So he's showing Varus right now, but as soon as I say Varus, you know he's going to switch. So yep, there it is, Varus. He did play Varus 2 games in the first week, so we'll have to see how this plays out versus Caitlyn. Just let me check my Skype sound options. Should not be muted. I'm not sure what is causing that. Let me switch some options around. Sometimes Skype likes to be troublesome. Try one more thing. I'm assuming they still cannot hear you.
It just Joe said you're not muted, just super low.
Super low. Okay, I could turn him up, no problem. Let me put him in the
there we go.
Speakers. Make sure he comes out to everybody, and then I'll go into. You're good now. You guys can. All right. If there's a problem, please let me know. All right, so. Yes. You're gone again. All right, we'll try one more. I'll go back to the setting I had you on. And that should be it. I'm not sure what is actually going on right now. I didn't change anything pre-game. So save that. All right, now let me know if you guys can hear him right now. All right?
I guess it should be speaking if that's going to be the case, huh?
Can you guys hear Slick?
There you go. I can hear myself.
Yeah, all right, good, very good.
So you figure out what's wrong.
Yes. All right. Now, before this game, we do have a delay. So instead of talking about the champions, we have a highlight video from week 1 of both of the teams. So I'm going to load that up and play it right now. If you want to check it out, we can get it linked to you guys in the chat. It is on YouTube. And then we'll talk a little bit about the team leaders. So let's get the monitor up.
Joe linked it in chat as well.
There's the shameless plugging that we all know and love. And League wants to load over top of it, so I apologize. Dancing in the desert, blowing up the sunshine. Everybody's going to the party, have a real good time. Dancing in the desert, blowing up the sunshine. Time, and we don't live in a fascist nation. Blast off! It's party time, and where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do you always send the poor? Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do you always send the poor? Why do you always send the poor? Why do you always send the poor?
Frustration. I want to see booty slam and butt frustration play together.
I think everybody does.
I'm at war with the world and they try to pull me into the dark. I struggle to find my faith as I'm slipping from your arms.
It's getting harder to stay awake, and my strength is fading fast. You breathe into me at last.
I'm awake, I'm alive. Now I know what I believe inside. Now it's my time. I'll do what I want, 'cause this is my life. Here,
Is this from one of the games that we casted or no? No.
My God, another back down.
I know what I believe inside. I'm awake and I'm alive.
It looks like they have something disconnected.
The game just loaded, but I'm gonna let it finish.
Alrighty. The game has been paused, so you guys are not missing any of the actual gameplay. Just like let you know that while the video is going.
When my faith is getting weak, and I feel like giving in, you breathe into me again.
I'm awake, I'm alive. Now I know what I believe inside. Now it's my time. I'll do what I want, 'cause this is my life. Here, right now.
I'm like God, another back
I
down.
know what I believe inside. I'm awake and I'm alive. Waking up, waking up. Waking up, waking up. Waking up, waking up. Waking up, waking up. In the dark, I can feel you in my sleep. In your arms, I feel you.
All right, we are in the game. A little pregame commentary. I just wanted to point out that, the names are wrong. Jeez. Let me get that fixed for you guys.
Well, it's all right. Well, I can start talking about the items here. At least blue team. Also, let's actually first comment on the skins. Both teams, I think, have full skins, if I do believe so. Karthus is Grim Reaper Karthus. We have the Ravager Nocturne, the Sheriff Caitlyn, some stupid version of Soraka, and I think it's Nurse or Dr. Shen or whatever it is. But there is, and then the other side has Haunted Maokai's, Spell Thief Lux, I forget what that version of Varus is, and Sona. But everybody.
Oh, I just lost you. I think-
Hopefully that will balance out the game.
All right, I think they're having a little bit of technical difficulties right now. Try and work them out. Yep, and we lost my co-host as I was trying to fix these. The call's coming back. I'm gonna let him call me back so that we don't have any problems with that. Here it comes. Answer that. And we go. Both teams are at 0 right now. No wins. We're having some internet issues, so I'm gonna see once we get that handled. I'm gonna close down some things here. I think this video might be causing me to lag out. We'll close that out. All right, let's see if we can't get him back in here. Anyways, meanwhile, we just have some pretty standard things coming down. Haven't missed too much action yet. Basically, very standard starts by both teams. Top lane, we see that Irelia opted to start with the Cloth and Pots versus Shen. Maybe not something that's necessary because Shen is pretty lackluster early game. Let's go. See if that fixes it out. Top lane, we just have some trading back and forth. It looks like Nocturne might be thinking about invading or ganking from Purple Zone jungle. And I'm getting the call again. So hopefully we'll take care of these problems. Alright. I can hear static now. I'm not sure whose end that's on. It's on my end, apparently. So I'm going to have to restart Skype and see if we can't get it cleaned up. So I apologize for all the problems right now. And we'll get this fixed as fast as we can. Alright, top lane we see Maokai is coming up to gank. Alright, we have Slick back in the chat.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back.
I was scared and lonely, and I missed you so much.
Well, we got back before there was any kills. Really, there is still not much going on. There's even very little CS difference between the two teams. So it'll be interesting to see how this game goes.
Yeah, totally. I'm just trying to fix some of my hotkeys right now. There we go. I think that we're good. Yes. Yeah, we should be good now. And the team names are still wrong, so I'm going to have to change the team names again, so you're going to have to take it for me.
Alrighty, not a problem. Right down here, we see the bottom lane. We see basically a pretty standard bottom lane comp. We see Caitlyn poking, we see Caitlyn CSing, but it seems like Varus is just getting a little bit better at the trades, so it's going to make her a little bit more passive. Top lane, we have their standard slugfest, as I like to call it, where Shen and Aurelia are just going back and forth. Shryukin doing a nice job farming under his tower, and Shen being pesky as always. The bottom lane has a little bit more action. As I said, it seems like Purple Team is shoving the lane a bit more to Blue side, and so we're going to see a little bit more aggression comes a little bit more farm. It's easier to farm when you're consistently attacking the CS. So it'll be interesting to see if anything happens negatively because of that. We see a gank going down on top. Maokai comes down in on the Shen. Shryukin receives it very well out of mana. It does not look like they're going to pick up the kill, but that is what you run into when you're on with the Shen, but it will force him to back out of the lane.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but it does look like Shen did have to burn his flash, even when Shryukin ran out of mana. It was just, he was overextended with no wards, so I think he's going to go back, pick up some wards, hopefully. And he does pick up a chain vest and a ward. There you go, and some pots.
And this is the same thing I see about Purple side on bottom, is just like Shen was overextended up top, constantly pushing the lane like Varus and Sona are doing leads to easier ganks to the other team. It's just whether or not they capitalize on it. And right now we see that Nocturne is bottom, so maybe we'll get to see some fireworks out of this lane.
Yeah, it looks like Maokai is trying to be hyperactive. He went straight from one gank into another, and I think that hurt him because Karthus was back under his turret. And in the bottom lane, we have a gank. Exhaust goes down on
Will
Sona.
the Karthus all pick this up? This Sona up, so Soraka picks it up, and that will be not very good for the blue team. They really need to get those kills on Karthus quick.
Yeah, that really hurts. I mean, Karthus has a huge cooldown on his ult, and I think it was just miscommunication. I think Sona thought that she could get some more, thought that Sona wasn't quite low enough for the kill there, when in fact she was. I'm not sure I like the choice to exhaust Sona there. Usually I like to see the AD carry exhausted, but I think that it definitely panned out for him. It let Caitlyn do enough damage so that the Karthus ult could be stolen by Soraka.
Well, let's talk about the top lane now. I'm a Giraffe and Shryukin 154 are battling it out up top, and Shryukin's actually getting the better end of the bargain almost the whole time. He's 16 CS ahead, and that is going to be pivotal for a late game. A blown ult by Catholics in the middle. Let's Karthus get away with just a sliver of health.
Yeah, Catholics can really afford to use his ult up here though, because just how fast of a cooldown it's on, and as the game goes on, it just kind of gets into that like chainsaw mode. It's like a machine gun. It really gets annoying. So
it is. It basically you can use it at the beginning of fights and at the end of fights, just because the cooldown is that quickly. And Karthus really benefits from this sustained time in the lane. So Lux can be really annoying due to that. But as a lot of people have said, Karthus does not win lane. He wins games, and hopefully we'll get to see that later on today.
I agree with that. It's almost mandatory that Karthus loses lane. And Shen comes up, pokes a little bit, will shield off the turret damage. And I'm not sure that he should be overextended here. He does have Chain Vest, which will help against Aurelia, but it won't help against the Maokai gank. And he is behind an entire level and a host of CS.
Going back to the top lane, actually top lane and bottom lane, if we look, there is a slight CS advantage for purple side, and but they are behind in the gold overall, about 600 gold.
Yeah, I'm just going to rearrange the lanes also. I forgot to do that. It's just... There we go. Now the lanes are evened up. And yeah, Irelia does have a very, very large lead over Shen. So.
And this will come into play. The more starved Shen gets, he's all about his ult. And if his ult is not going to be effective when it actually completes, then you might as well not ult with him at all anyway. So it'll be very interesting to see if he can make himself at least useful later on in the game. And that's going to come from saving bot lane. And whether or not... Oh, and Shen is overextended again.
And I wanted to point out something. Shen just backs out because he just uses his dash and gets out of there. But while you were talking, Lux did come up into the river here and ult the blue buff to steal it. So she did steal Karthus' blue buff, which is really going to hurt him a lot this game because Karthus is just so mana dependent.
And that is a very skilled thing to do as well, knowing how to actually time up the ult to just that last sliver of health. And when they're trying to hand off the blue to Karthus, it gets a little easier to do that. It'll be interesting to see what actually, if that keeps happening during the game, or whether they take steps to correct it.
You know, while this Nocturnal didn't pick up a kill, Varus was pushed into this bush ford, and he had Soraka very low and killable, and the Nocturnal actually scared him into backing off. So while it didn't pick up a kill, it inadvertently did save Soraka's life.
And it's actually Karthus is winning in farm in the mid lane. He's actually bullet, and he's going to pick up a kill on Lux here if he had enough damage to get a double kill.
Very narrowly picked up the triple kill. Sona had to step in front of Caitlyn's ult to keep Varus alive, and she only survived with a sliver of health. And Shoryuken's going to TP in bot, and that's a bad decision. Shen just follows him down with his ult, and they're both going to have to back here. And this might be a turret for blue team.
Might be a turret for blue team. I actually don't disagree with Shoryuken's teleport. Bottom, he could have done a lot more damage had he just stayed top and just farmed. But instead, he kind of throws a little wrench in the mix and maybe adds a little bit of pressure down bottom. Either way, he didn't die down there, so I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, if you notice, though, that Nocturne ult was so pivotal to taking this dragon because Nocturne's ult enabled Karthus to pick up a double kill and almost kill Sona. It forced a TP out of Shoryuken, which was basically wasted. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with his choice to TP, but he essentially wasted it. Shen came down, and they picked up an easy dragon.
And the problem here for Catholics is going to be Incendiary Spade constant harassing with his Q, and that's going to force him out of lane and try to force the CS. And we have a pause. This will be remedied in a bit. I think somebody may have DC'd. It seems like we're not the only ones having some technical difficulties today.
Yeah, Miggy disconnected. So they're going to pause it out. That is the 80 carry for Feed the Poros, which is purple team right now. And
I've oftentimes heard it's very difficult to win a game without your 80 carry.
yeah, sometimes it's impossible. I don't know. Is that another lesson from your grandpa?
I don't know. He usually just has a wide variety of Anivia wisdom, but this is really going to hurt purple team if they have to. It is after the 10-minute mark, so I do believe the rules say they forfeit this game, but I'm not sure how strictly they are adhering to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long they'll actually wait for Miggy to get back into the game before it's forfeited. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
And that would be a shame, too, because even though they are down 3 kills and the Karthus is getting on a roll, I actually do think they do have a huge advantage top lane, and their bottom lane is not doing too shabby to boot. So it'll be very interesting to see if they can come back from this, A, or if B, they end up forfeiting a game that they could have possibly won.
Oh, sorry, I was reading the chat. Not much going on in there. So... if we could actually can't even. Oh, there it is. We can analyze some of the items right now. Caitlyn has not picked up a kill in bot lane, even though Varus and Sona have both died once. So Soraka, even with the kill, she went back and she opted to get the early Philo Stone, which I'm not really a huge fan of. I like to see supports go back and pick up the Sight Stone because she'll end up spending so much gold on the ward she has to buy before the Sight Stone that it will have made up for the amount of gold she earned from having the early Philo. if that made any sense to anybody. And there it is.
Looks like-
Miggy is
Yeah,
reconnected.
Miggy has reconnected, but I also wanted to say for people in the stream that are having problems viewing it because their internet connection or they believe our internet connection, which that's usually not the problem. It's usually you don't have enough speed at your home computer. The best way to resolve that, there is actually an extension that you can download for Chrome, Firefox, etc. That is like Easy Twitch or like Twitch Advanced or something like that. That lets you actually watch streams. It basically just streamline some of the process. So check it out if you're interested. It did make it easier for me, but I'm not sure how it will for you. And it looks like the game will be back here in 5 seconds.
Yeah, if someone wants to find that and post it in the chat, be more than happy for the help.
Alrighty. Looks like we're first going to snap down here to jungle. Nocturne coming back. He seems to be farming pretty well. Talk about the jungle battle here at this point.
Well, right now, Maokai just flashed in to get his snare down on Karthus, but Karthus flashed Maokai under the ult. So Maokai went like twice the distance and just took a bunch of turret hits. And right now, Maokai's been really hyperactive with his ganking, so I'm really impressed that he's been able to keep up in CS with Nocturne, because I feel like Nocturne spent a little bit more time in the jungle.
Have you changed the scene in XSplit as well, or in OBS?
There it is.
There we go. All right.
Oh man, nope, that's not right.
The best part about watching a stream is actually being able to watch what's going on. And it looks to me now that we do have Incendiary Spade with Blue, which is going to be very, very big deal. It lets Karthus spam his Q, but it does seem like the jungle, Maokai, is camping his lane. They do not want him to get out of control. And it looks like they did get another good bind, and Karthus will go down.
Yeah, and this is huge because Incendiary Spade is easily the highest ranked, one of the highest ranked players in the tournament. There's 2 Diamond players, and both of them are in this division. So if Feed the Poros wants to get out into the open bracket, then they need to take down Incendiary Spade.
I agree. Incendiary Spade is a big key. He's the highest ranked player. He's been the most consistent player by far. And but any time you can get a kill on a Karthus, force him out of lane, force the CS to stop, make his ult no longer a threat, it's always a big deal. And his ult will be up in another few seconds, so it'll be interesting to see if he can pick up even more kills on top of the already 2 that he's gotten with it.
Yeah, I really hope that Feed the Poros has the ult timer on Karthus so that they could keep them, play safer when it's up.
That is very difficult to do, but yes, Nocturne getting caught sitting on a ward, and it's going to actually not get a kill. It looked to me like he was sitting right on top of that ultimate.
I'm not sure I agree with Riot servers right now.
I agree. I am fundamentally disagree with what just happened there, but I have to cast it anyway. Nocturne just gets away with a little bit of luck, but sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, I could not even see Nocturne. He was so covered with that ult, so I'm really surprised. I'm not sure what exactly happened there. There is no ramp where he was standing, so he should have just been vaporized.
No, that's what happens sometimes with Nightmares is you can't kill him with your Lux ult. Regardless, what you see bot lane now, it seems to the aggression is pushed the other way, and that's what Karthus gets you. And you see Maokai coming out of the river here, landing down a bind on Kate, and Kate does not have many escapes, but they do in fact get away, and
yeah, Sona misses
fine.
a pivotal ult right there. I think that the Sona ult might actually turn this around into positive for Blue. The Karthus ult's coming in, and down goes Maokai, and so goes down Poros. And I don't think Sona's getting out of here. Shen catches her with the taunt.
that results in a triple kill, 1 for each, 1 for Shen, 1 for Nocturne, and 1 for Kate. And that not 1 for Nocturne. I believe it was 1 for I guess yes, 1 for Karthus as well. Sorry. So that's going to be a huge deal, and it shifted the gold even more in Blue Team's favor.
Yeah, I mean, Feed the Poros has to be extremely careful when Karthus ult is off cooldown. I mean, they were pushing, and it was a good push, but Sona missed a pivotal ult. She hit nothing. Nothing. I mean, it was an airball all the way, and it results in a blue turret, and Dragon's going to be up here soon, and I don't know if Purple's going to be able to contend
We're getting
it.
interrupting. Hiccup say, you guys know Nock spell shielded Lux all right. I played a lot of Nock, and I've used that spell shield several times, and it very rarely blocks a spell that well, in my opinion. I guess I just didn't look to see if he had the buff, because when it blocks a spell, it has a buff afterward. But I didn't see the buff, and I honestly did not see how he did it. But I guess if he had the spell shield, I will trust your opinion. It's all about trust. That's what love is all about, is trust. We love you, interrupting Hiccup. We also see the jungle clear from Maokai. He, and another a bad, I think, by Shryukin. Actually, Shen overextending again and picking up another kill and an assist for Shryukin.
You know, it's really important to get Lux those kills right now. She's actually kept up, or Catholics is kept up in CS with Incendiary Spade, and that's really important lane. The Karth assault is starting to get out of control, so it would be nice to see. It's always nice to see Lux pick up those extra kills.
The one good thing about the Karth assault is it does not come up very often. And a lot of people they'll buy an elixir of fortitude, and just when that ult's about to go off, they'll pop it, and usually it'll give them enough health to scrape by. But we don't see anybody taking that precaution, and they don't have to right now for, I think it's another half minute, but it will haunt them the rest of the game.
Yeah, the Karth assault is doing a lot of damage right now with the needless, so they just have to be very passive when it's up. Very decisive. We need to see very decisive fights from Feed the Poros.
One thing I do have to say about blue team is that they just now getting to their blue buff, and it has been up for quite some time, and it is warded by purple team. So Lux may be trying to steal here, but I'm not sure why they're not taking the buff. I know they want to give it to Karthus. It'll just see how long it takes them to get there, and I think it's been about a minute and a half before they've been able to hand that blue off.
Yeah, Karthus has been on nothing but a tier for quite some time now, so we'll see if Lux comes in here and snipes the buff off again. I don't think she's going to be able to.
I think she sees the ward there, and she did not decide to use her ult to pick that up. She did have it available, though, so I guess she's just complacent here with dropping down and adding some pressure to bot lane.
Yeah, I think they're being really careful. They don't want to give up another easy dragon. Shen's ult is up right now, so he can come down at any moment and turn this 2v4 into a 5v4.
We see bot lane not responding at all. This may actually be another dragon, or actually a double kill on bot if they don't leave. And it looks like that blue team will be focusing their attention, even though it is warded on dragon. And Caitlyn was tanking for the beginning there, and she's deep into the pit, so she can escape if she nets over the backside.
Yeah,
Go on.
There's some miscommunication because you see that purple team is pinging their bot lane to come up, and they just weren't coming up. They were trying to CS, and sometimes you see this in newer players where they're just trying to get that last little bit of CS. When dragon is easily a much more important objective, and it just Niger had all 5 of their players there. Irelia's TP is up, but was decided not to be used, and I think that's okay because bot lane just wasn't ready for that.
I think the teamwork for blue has been a lot better, but the individual play seems to be on the side of purple. So this will be a very a game that it really depends on how they play as a team in the late game. I think that if we look at Shryukin in the top lane battle here, she is absolutely murdering this Shen. 120 CS to 88. That's almost a 40 CS lead, and she's not died. He has not died at all. He has 1 assist, so he is really helping his team out by just simply not feeding on that top lane.
Yeah, and Karthus actually got caught trying to take his wraiths, and Maokai forced a flash. Maokai and Lux forced a flash off of Karthus, which is really good because Karthus is extremely immobile, and so now they can just kill him.
In addition to that, a lot of the way that Karthus gets his damage done is by having his Defile on in the middle of crowds. And the best way to get in the middle of a crowd is to flash there and exhaust somebody. That's why he has those 2 summoner spells. And using your flash defensively means he cannot use it offensively in a team fight. So we'll see if he gets a chance to really pay for that mistake.
Yeah, I think that we need to see Irelia stay top lane as long as he can. Only ult in when he's basically guaranteed to change a team fight, or not ult in, rather teleport in. And here comes a gank in the mid from Nocturne as Lux lands a stun. He's gonna ult, but no, he goes down before the ult, and it looks like Maokai's ult is not enough to save him. They might dive him here, and no, they just back off.
That was a terrible trade mid lane. Terrible trade. She lost her ult, and they lost Lux in general. So that was kind of, and I believe they lost a flash as well. So that was not a good trade for purple team.
Well, I mean, that's a blue ward. I'm sorry. So I thought that she had just missed the ward here, but it is a Niger ward. So no harm there.
Speaking of wards, what do you think about these ward coverage in River? It looks like pretty good from both teams.
Purple or Poros is a little lackluster to me. Top lane, that's just some standard stuff up there. You just put the 1 ward, keep yourself safe from ganks, You know, Irelia is just so tanky. She doesn't really need more than that. I do like how Lux is keeping the top of the lane warded, but I think that she needs to play closer to this bush right here rather than down at the bottom bush, which is why she got caught off by Nocturne in the first place. Although he did alter, so it wouldn't have mattered.
And they did have Dragon warded. The ward expired not too long ago, so there was actually a purple ward down bottom, and so there actually might be one in that bottom. There is one in the bottom bush where you see that blue ward. The symbols are kind of stacking. So both teams do have pretty good ward placement. We see a team fight going down here, and Maokai does a pretty good job placing his ult and not taking too much damage.
Yeah, I don't know that I like this trade. I think he should have just backed out and let blue team have the blue buff. Lux did laser steal it again. I know that Maokai was giving it to her, but I think that it would have just been a smarter decision to back out. There were 3 players from Niger there, and it just wasn't very safe. And it resulted in yet another Karthus kill. So Karthus is 5-1 right now. He has the large majority of Niger's kills, but that ult is just going to be so devastating once he finishes his Rabadons, which he has done. He has his Rabadons and another needlessly large rod.
It seems like he's going all out damage. He's probably going to be building that Zhonya's next, so he's going to be able to get into that middle of the team and really do all the damage that he really wants to. And his flash will be up for that, it seems like. Both of his summoners are on short cooldown. He is really the champion to pay attention to when you're looking at whether or not this game is going to go well for blue team.
Yeah, and with the Zhonyas, he's going to be able to just move into the team fight Zhonyas, and his Defile will actually stay down through the duration of the Zhonyas, just dealing out lots of damage. So, I mean, he aptly has the Grim Reaper skin because he is just killing everybody right now.
It looks like there's going to be a 3-man gank on bot with Shen. I wonder if he will actually ult out of this, and he won't. He is going to probably die here.
Yeah, Shen's really tanky now, but that's just a lot for him to handle. There's the Lux ult, and she picks it up, and I think that right now Poros just needs to get Catholics as fed as possible because Lux just becomes a very crowd controlling, damagey champion, and it's just very hard to deal with late game.
Once again, I'd like to point your attention to top lane, even though it is focusing on well, snap to top lane now. They are taking damage on that tower, and it looks like Shryukin has done a beautiful job with Irelia top lane.
Yeah, there's a Sona ult. It hits 2, but Nocturne does spell shield the ult out also. So, I mean, the Sona pick really needs to revolve around the ability to land her ult and to puff the champs, and she's not really doing a great job of getting her ult on everybody that she needs to. It was a little premature. Nobody died on blue team from it, so they just backed off, waited for Sona to have Sona's ult's on cooldown, so there is no threat from another stun.
You see a quick engage from Maokai, and it looks like a bad engage from purple team. They instantly turn around and run. If you're going to commit to a Karthus, you have to just commit. It seemed to be a lot of indecision coming out of purple team. They're about 8,000 gold behind, actually probably closer to 7,200. This is going to test how long they can hold on. In previous games, we've seen that they can hold on pretty well, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, this is starting to snowball out of control for Poros. Nocturne just dives in behind 2 turrets. There, he backs off because Karthus has his ult up, and Karthus picks up another kill. He's 7-1 now with 220 CS. So it's just, this might be too much for Poros to deal with. Nocturne is fighting Maokai in his own base, and Maokai's not really moving towards any turrets, and Nocturne looks like he's trying to get out now. He might actually go down. Nope. The minions come just in time, and there's the Lux snipe.
Up by Catholic's Lux ult. It's a beautiful pick off right at the tail end. He almost made it out, but he will fall.
Yeah, we really need to look to Catholics and to Shryukin to make some plays here because they seem to be the 2 most farmed on their team right now. Varus is not very far behind, but he's been shut down a lot, so he is behind in level.
Another interesting thing to note is that they're all 7 of their 11 blue team's 11 kills are on Karthus. So even though Karthus scales insanely well, even though he's a real bear to deal with late game, it'll be interesting to see whether or not he will, if he gets caught out, how much all the kills being on pretty much just him will hurt his team later on.
Yeah, purple team's starting to catch up in the turret battle, but it's just not making much of a dent in the gold deficit because that is the 3rd dragon that Niger has taken this game.
Interrupting Hiccup would like to point out that Nocturne did not spell shield that ult. Thank you for letting us know. We were not certain whether or not he spell shielded
Well,
that.
I just saw the ult cover Nocturne that time, and he just walked right away from it, so I assumed. I am sorry, I do not play Nocturne. We'll have to get you on to cast some Nocturne plays.
That's right, just Nocturne plays. We will snap. We should set you up in your own stream that just follows Nocturne.
Yeah, I really hope that Poros bans Nocturne so I stop looking like an idiot with all this commentary.
No, I mean, the spell shield, I didn't know about the spell shield. It just did not look like he got it down to me. Regardless, it looks like there will be a teleport top for Shryukin, and this may be the play that they need, but it does not look like they have the damage, and Maokai will fall in the mid to Caitlyn. They should just turn here. They can win this fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You did see Lux ult in the lane. Her ult did miss all the CS at the turret, though, so I think Lux was just ranged, I guess. I don't think that's what you'd say. Made a bad decision on the range of her ult and missed all that creep. So the creep was able to tank for for Niger, so that they could take down that turret.
It's interesting if you're a new player, you have to focus on when you're that far out of position, what is the rest of the team doing? And there was two people as a 2v2 top, and they showed some indecisiveness, and instead of picking up both kills, they only picked up one, and they gave up a kill in mid lane because of their presence wasn't there. So once again, I see Purple Team having a hard time deciding on whether or not to commit.
Yeah, I think that Shryukin could have definitely ulted that turret faster. He would have been fine under it alone while Catholics was walking up the lane. If you notice, though, Incendiary Spade was really overextended here, and both Shryukin and Catholics came down on him, but a nice Karthus wall blocked off this whole area and he was able to walk away.
Karthus is even farming the Wraiths and the Wolves from both sides. He has actually gained in the farm battle when he was previously behind. He's got 246 farm, which is pretty close to perfect farm, and Lux is not far behind. But the 7 kills give Karthus a huge edge, and in return give Blue Team that edge as well.
Yeah, Karthus is sitting at 11.6 thousand gold right now, whereas Catholics only has 9.5. So while he's close behind in CS and kills, it's just not quite enough. You could tell the difference comes from those dragon kills and the 2 extra turrets.
I honestly think it'll be who groups together and gets better the next good team fight off. A Purple Team can still come back on this if they get a good team fight coming up, and with the Varus ult and the Sona ult chained together with Maokai's ult of reducing the incoming damage, it would be very easy for them to come back here.
Yeah, I would definitely not count Poros out. As the game progresses, Maokai is just going to get tankier and tankier, and so is Irelia. And Irelia really shines late game, and he's had a pretty good early game phase. No kills, but 3 assists and 180 creep. So he's starting to really hit that late game phase pretty soon. And Maokai comes in and catches out Soraka. And this is what needs to happen. The coordination from Poros needs to be spot on. I mean, you can't really count out any team. Anyone can come from behind. None of these guys are professionals. So all it takes is one slip up like that, and now we can have a 5v4. But Shryukin just face checks that bush, and that could have been really dangerous.
Interrupting Hiccup says that's not a very good build on Karthus. I disagree. I think that's a very good build on Karthus. It gives him a humongous amount of damage and a lot of magic pen. He could have gone Leandries. That's the one thing that I would probably swap out in his build, is that Void Staff is not better than Leandries, but it is better when it's short bursts of damage over time. But the Zonya's Hourglass, you can't argue with that one. He can get in the middle of team fights and really just kind of make himself invulnerable for a few seconds. And then it looks like he's also going for the Muramana in the bottom lane, the Archangel Staff, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think that his 7, 1, and 4 would argue otherwise, that his build is not good. Yeah, there might be different optimizations of his build, but it is really solid. The only thing I might like to see added to that would be maybe a Rod of Ages, but I mean, really, he's done a great job managing his mana, so he didn't really need it, and that's going to let him go for a fast Void Staff.
As I said, Leandries, I think, will be, after he completes his Archangel, should be his next item. It gives you more magic pen, it gives you a burn over time, and it gives you a little bit of health and tankiness that he's missing because he didn't have the Void Staff. We see a huge team fight going down, and ult by Nocturne on the Maokai. Interestingly enough, I don't think they knew Purple Team was there. Karthus' Defile goes relatively untouched by the enemy team, but they are still coming out ahead.
Yeah, I think that Purple was really hesitant to engage there when they caught a man out by himself. Lux stayed behind the wall, and down comes the Karthus ult. It's going to pick up what Caitlyn's ult could not. So
Shoryuken actually did a really good job that fight, getting out, being the only kill on the Karthus ult, and blocking the Caitlyn ult. 1-1-4 with 186 farm compared to 1-3-4 with 150 farm. Clearly the top lane was won, but will there be enough to carry the Poros?
yeah, I think there's just too much indecision right now with the Poros. They're definitely not out of this game. They need to let this inhibitor go probably. I don't see any boots of home guard boots on Purple, which is
We
really
got
surprising.
breaking news, Lex. Nocturne did not spell shield that ult either. Just to let you know.
Oh, I didn't say.
I'm just throwing that out there.
All right,
He
just
did
make sure that I
not
do
spell
not-
shield that ult.
I'm just done with
interrupting
the spell
Hiccup
shields.
is watching.
Actually, I've just
don't
been
want our
doing a
energy.
really good job of not casting anything that has to do with Nocturne.
There you go. Just stay away from Nocturne.
So all you Nocturne fans, I'm sticking my tongue out right now.
There you go.
Purple team's
This is like-
signaling to go in on their first dragon of the game, and it looks like blue team's 2 out of position up here taking this blue. So I think that Poros is going to get their first dragon, and these are the steps that they need to take to start to get back into this game.
We have a few more viewers. We have 27 now, as before we had a little bit less. I would like to point out that if you're having trouble viewing the stream, there is an add-on for Chrome and Firefox that you can add on, and it makes the viewing experience a little bit easier, a little bit more streamlined. We see blue team almost throwing this game away. What do you think?
Irelia comes out. Soraka's in the mid farming. She shouldn't be doing that. She's a support. She needs to be with her teammate. I mean, yeah, everybody wants gold on their champions, but Soraka is the support, and she just needs to be healing people and supporting. And now she makes it a difficult situation for blue team because now it's a 5v4. And even though it's only Soraka and only the support, it still makes a huge amount of difference. But it looks like Poros is not going to capitalize on it. Blue team's making their way down here. They're about to discover that there is no dragon. Purple does have it warded, so maybe we'll see a fight here. I think that this is what I would want to go for. If I'm the Poros right now and I see 3 people from blue team down here, I'm thinking about engaging it.
We see that it says by your mom SC Joe here, it says poor team fights from Poros, no focus on Karthus, and people way out of position. Actually, I see that from the Team Nigers, actually. That last fight in the jungle, blue was really out of position, but purple just doesn't have the gold to really engage in that type of situation.
Yeah,
and in addition to that, focusing on Karthus can be a huge downfall for a team because everybody's sitting in his defile, and he's going to do damage either way. I think the best thing that happened in that jungle fight, and they still lost, because Karthus had to chase them with his defile not hitting anybody.
I think Poros just needs to be more decisive. They could have caught out 2 people in that jungle fight. Instead, they danced around and allowed blue team to make up for their positioning. And then blue just came in and swept it because Karthus just does so much damage right now at 10-1.
The farm difference and his ult picking up those kills is really making a difference. They will be in control of these team fights. And Purple not only has to have a good advantage, they have to have a great engage to win fights.
Yeah, I mean, Catholics is doing a great job of only staying slightly behind Karthus, but it's just not enough. His team needs to be more decisive so that he can pick up more kills. And Maokai's going to throw the seed over the wall to check the Baron pit because I think they're afraid right now. It's 35 minutes. That's a pretty average time for a team to take Baron. Maokai comes in on Karthus,
does get caught out.
but there's just so much defile damage going down that Maokai jumps in there and nearly dies by just rooting him to the ground.
That Nocturne would have died to that Lux ult, but instead he gets down his Zhonya's Hourglass, goes invulnerable, and gets out of a lot of damage.
Yeah, that Sona ult allows for Varus to pick up the kill, but they're down 3 players now. Sona is flashing red and is going to have to back, so that means this inhibitor is going to go down again. And meanwhile, Shen has pushed the bot lane all the way to the turret, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just come down here and take another turret and another inhibitor. So this is, as you like to say, the beginning of the end for Poros in Game 1.
If they're taking the inhibitor, I believe the statistics are the first inhibitor that goes down, whatever team takes it has an 80% chance of winning. That's very large, and I just don't think they have the mettle to come back in a game where they've been abused over and over again.
Yeah, if you look, I mean, I know that Poros is hanging on for dear life right now, but even Sona, like, just her dying out here for no reason at all, just trying to get a little bit of poke on Shen, who is so tanky, was just a big misstep. And now it puts her team in even more defensive position, whereas if she stayed alive, they might have a chance because Karthus was down for another, like, 10 seconds.
Let's keep in mind it is very difficult when you're behind this far to really come up with some sort of strategy that will work, just simply because they do so much more damage than you. So while Sona is maybe looking like it was a poor decision, what else is she going to do?
Oh, I agree, but I think she should have just stayed behind her turrets. She moved out and just gave up her life. I know that they're very behind and it's very hard to come back from that position, but I think that you need to do everything possible to not die
It
and
looks
to
like
not.
Purple Team might counter with a Baron here. No, they're just checking it
Yeah,
for no reason.
I think that they probably do enough damage that they could have taken it because Blue is out of position. I mean, Karthus was way up high, so even if they baited the fight out, it would have been a 4-on-5 there without Karthus. And if you look, without Karthus, their most fed player is Caitlyn with 5 kills.
And another thing to point out, though, is that after it is common practice that once there is a strong team fight and the other team will push to your inhibitor towers, the most common thing to do is take Baron off of that. But they didn't decide to do that, and it looks like Blue Team will pick up a Baron because of Karthus drawing everybody out of position.
Yeah, that's really rough. I mean, I would say, Karthus, what are you doing up there dying? But, I mean, it paid off with a Baron. What is Poros going to be able to do to defend this as soon as Karthus comes back? I mean, they're just going to be able to push everything in. And
your mom, I just wanted to point out, he said between Seraphs and Zhonya, he's pretty hard to kill in reference to Karthus. And that's what I was pointing out earlier. I really like his build. It gives him a lot of shield. It gives him the invulnerability from Zonya's Hourglass. And his Defile does a crap ton of damage anyway.
yeah, I mean, if you notice the 1v3 up here, he flashed in and almost picked up 2 kills because of the Zhonyas. So,
Not to mention, it totally avoids the Lux ultimate.
yeah, which is huge. Lux very nearly died to that. And actually, if Lux hadn't positioned himself properly, he would have died to the Karthus is like after death.
There is about 11,000 gold advantage for Team Niger. Feed the Poros really scrambling to come with some type of strategy, some type of defense. But it'll, as you said earlier, it will be the beginning of the end of this team unless they can pretty much turn a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the gold difference, Karthus is basically up an entire Rabadon's death cap on Catholics, and so that makes it really, really difficult to deal with him. He doesn't even have to go in to pick up those kills. His ult is up again, so he's just going to look to back and, I mean, keep his eye open for anything. And Blue takes a 4th dragon.
I think really the biggest difference between these two teams throughout this fight has been decisiveness. Purple Team has not really been decisive on any of their engages, on any of their decisions. We saw the 2v2 top lane that only resulted in 1 kill and a bad exchange in the mid. We've seen them really kind of dance in and out of Karthus's Defile, and then when the Nocturne ult goes off, we see people splitting instead of engaging on targets that they should have been engaging on anyway. So it'll be do you think that'll change in game 2 is my question.
I would like to see it. If I'm Catholics, I'm probably getting pretty upset. Like, hey guys, I'm going to make some calls and you just do what I say. And even if they're the wrong calls, if everybody goes in, a wrong call can turn into something good as long as everybody responds properly. You can't make a call and have 4 people go and that 5th person say no. So I think that they need to figure out who's going to make calls, and they just need to do it. And they need to be decisive because they're hesitating just way too much.
We see the Luxalt come out and not do too much damage to anybody, really. But look, they are committing to the fight. They did go in, and now they instantly run away and leave Karthus the ability to do some huge bursts on the champions as they run.
Yeah, and Karthus' Wall of Pain is just humongous right now. It covers the entire lane, so you're not going to be able to run away very effectively. They're lucky that Niger was just a little bit behind them. Otherwise, they could have just engaged on that. Lux ult is going to be up again here really shortly, and that's what you're talking about. Like, you can use the ult at the beginning of the fight and at the end, and I don't know that she has reached max CDR, and it doesn't appear so. No, she hasn't been building any CDR items, so and that's still how fast it comes up.
What do you think about the items, the builds in general? Tell me a little bit about that.
I actually don't have the items up, so give me 1 second to bring those up.
Alrighty.
And take a peek. Alright, I see that, I mean, Shen has one bulwark that's pretty standard. I like the Sunfire Cape on him. It's definitely an item that's really cheap health and armor, and it has that cool, like, fiery effect. It burns people when he gets in there deep. And I'm interested, though, in Nocturne with the Atma's Impaler. I mean, I like the item, but I don't know that he has the health to make it worthwhile.
I'd also like to point out that the blue team Niger has really systematically, on top of just overwhelming with individual performance, they've systematically dismantled Feed the Poros. If you look, they have every tower and every inhibitor, and they're going to push in for a win here. So there's a lot of skill to overcome for Team Poros.
Yeah, if you look, Garthas just flashed into 4 people and didn't take even that much damage. It took quite a while. They started to focus him down, and he just Zhonya's, and that's the end of the game. So, I don't know. What were your thoughts on that? Where did it go wrong for Feed the Poros?
I just think that, once again, they were not decisive. I think that, as you put it earlier, they just didn't make the correct decisions. And even if they had one shot caller that would make one call, they would do better than what they were doing now.
Yeah, I didn't really see a huge gap in play. I mean, I thought that Catholics played it extremely well to be playing against a Diamond player, and I didn't think that any of the lanes were overwhelmingly beaten by skill. I just think that the coordination of Niger was just what really pushed them over the edge in this game. I mean, if you look, Karthus has 11 kills, and I'm going to take a peek and see how much damage he dealt to all the champions.
Karthus was by far ahead. He had almost dealt 45,000 damage to champions as opposed to 33,000 to Lux. So there's almost 15,000 difference between their top 2 champions, and that's going to be huge.
Yeah, there was actually nearly a 20,000 damage difference between both of the teams' totals, and that just goes to show you how great of a player Catholics was. I mean, he was really behind, but he was really working hard to deal the extra damage so that his team could pull ahead.